Hi everybody, it's Niamh on here today. I'm one of the speech and language therapists for Surestart. So I'm bringing you Anytime is Chatting Time today. This program has been developed for parents of children in that toddler age range. So we're going to spend the next few minutes just thinking about how your words work wonders to support your child's early brain development. So the relationship you have with your child is like rich, nutritious soil for their developing brain to grow in. Your love creates good growing conditions for your child's brain so that they can learn to think, to talk, to play, to make friends, to be able to read and count later, and most of all, be happy. So remember, love grows brains. So it's the love and the stimulation that you provide your children in these early years that really supports crucial brain development. And it's really nice to think that you as the parent or caregiver is your child's first teacher, and you're their most permanent teacher. So you're there for them throughout their lives, and you're providing so many learning experiences in everyday situations. So we're going to go back and think about what was happening in your child's brain from even before they were born. So when your child was born, the downstairs part of the brain, or the brain stem, was the only part of the brain that was hardwired and ready to go. So this brain stem is responsible for bodily functions such as the ability to breathe, to cry, and heart rate. So we know that children from birth are able to cry, so that's a really crucial communication skill that they're born with. And our babies can become quite distressed when they cry. So we as the parent would be tuning in to those cries, and we would be playing the role of detective, so trying to figure out what our babies are trying to tell us through those cries. So are they hungry? Are they wet? Do they need changed? Do they need comforted? Are they in pain? So it's up to us to interpret those early messages and to respond to our baby's cries. And by doing that, you're meeting their basic needs. So then our babies can become calm and regulated once their needs are met. So that's the function of the brain stem. It helps our babies become distressed when they need something and to become calm again when their needs are met. So the upstairs part of the brain, or the thinking part of the brain, has hardly developed at birth. So the brain wiring in this part of the brain can only start to take place once our babies have experiences such as being smiled at, being talked to, being held and cuddled, and having their needs met. So these experiences are all contributing to those connections taking place in this part of the brain, so that our babies can go on to learn to think, to talk, to play, and to make friends. So this is a picture of the connections in the upstairs part of the brain. So you can see that the newborn has lots of cells in this part of the brain that are there, they're ready to connect. And they can only start to connect once our baby has experiences. And through repeated experiences, these cells become more firmly connected and the connections are stronger. So as you can see, it goes from the connections that take place from 2 years to the connections that are in the brain as an adult. But we know that those first 3 years of our children's lives are really, really crucial for brain development. And even antenatally, we know that brain development has started right from conception. So it goes to show that these early years are absolutely vital in giving our children lots of stimulation to help their brains to develop. And when your children are nursery school aged, 90% of the brain connections have already taken place that they'll ever have. So that's again why it's so important to think about what we're doing in these early years to support brain development. So it's nothing fancy or expensive. It's so simple. It's just talking to our children that builds up those brain connections. Your words really do work wonders. So talking with your child will help them to learn all the things we mentioned before. So they learn to talk, to concentrate, to play, and to make friends. So that's why we want to encourage you to make any time chatting time. So you can talk about anything, anywhere. If you think of it as giving your child a running commentary throughout the day, you're exposing your child to so much language. You can recruit them to be your little helpers. We know children love to help. So getting them to help you take clothes off the line. You can talk about the items of clothing. You can talk about what you're going to do. So are you taking them off? Are you folding them? Maybe you're going to iron the clothes. You can talk about descriptive language. So what do the clothes look like or feel like or smell like? And you can match things together as well. So that's just one example of involving your child in a daily activity. And you can see that you can get so much language into that activity. And this is how our children learn to talk and to use lots of different words. So the more often a child experiences something, the stronger that pathway in the brain becomes. So it's a bit like walking across a field. The more you walk along it, the more permanent the pathway becomes. So the more you respond to your child, the more your child will be understanding that you're tuned into them, and that will encourage them to keep on wanting to interact with you more and more. And the more that you talk about what your child is interested in, the more you're helping to support those brain connections take place. And children need to hear a word many, many times before they're able to use it themselves. So that's why we talk a lot about repetition and why things like nursery rhymes and books are so vital in supporting brain development, because it's the idea that you're repeating words over and over again, which is helping your children to learn. So listening and responding are both really important. So it's a wee bit like playing a game of tennis. So it's the idea that it's the back and forth that really supports communication and brain development. So if you're tuning into what your child is doing, or what they're interested in, or what they're saying, so take a wee minute to wait and just watch what they're doing. And they might try then to tell you something, and then you're responding to that. So it's that idea that you're waiting for them to do something, and once they do it, then you do something back. And we're teaching them about early turn taking as well. But it's this responsive type of interaction that really supports language development. And studies show us that there's actual physical differences in the brain structure of children who have really responsive parents. So this here back and forth idea is the magic ingredient in helping your child to make those brain connections. So every time you smile, talk, laugh, sing and share stories, you're literally building your child's brain and helping those connections take place. The more you do it, the more those pathways in the brain are laid down. So it's a wee bit like the idea of the pathway in the field. So this is why it's a great idea to develop a habit daily to smile, talk, laugh, sing and share stories. And it's brilliant because you can do it anytime, anywhere. The more opportunities you take to talk to your child, the more you're helping them learn to talk. So like we said, it's nothing fancy. It's things that you're probably doing already. But next week we're going to explore these 4 key ways of interacting with our children in a wee bit more detail, and all the ways in which these simple ideas are helping to support brain development. I hope you enjoyed that today. Please feel free to leave a comment, or if you have any feedback at all, we'd love to hear from you. I want to say thank you for listening, and I'll be back on again next week. If you do have any queries or concerns about your child's development, please don't hesitate to get in touch with myself or any of the rest of the team. Thank you. Bye.